G'day, I'm Kevin. I've been here in Thailand for about a year now, travelling, relaxing, exploring and learning. Living here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and the adventure continues. This is 52 weeks. Good morning, or perhaps I should say rainy morning. It is rainy season in Thailand at the moment, so today the morning was quite rainy, very consistent rain this morning, and you know, still sprinkling a little bit, but we'll see how we go. I'm at the Thapae Gate. You may be able to hear people shouting behind me. They're actually scaring the pigeons so people can get beautiful photos of themselves with pigeons flying around. Not my idea of a good time, but people like those photos and this is the place to do it. I had planned today to do a walking tour of temples in the old city, which is the bit inside the moat. I got a bit of a late start. It's late morning now. As I say, there was some pretty consistent rain this morning, and then it stopped and it started coming over here and it started raining again, but now it's just spitting a little bit. So I will try and do the temple tour. The idea is just to do a walking tour of temples in the old city. There are plenty of temples in the old city, and walking between them is quite easy. So I thought I'd just do a tour, show you what's around and maybe how much it costs me for, you know, walking around looking at temples. And we'll see how that goes. If it starts raining again, we might have to find something else to do. First of all, what is a wat? A wat is an enclosed space that has a number of buildings in it. It has a viran, which is the assembly hall, and they have an upasot, which is the ordination hall. You will also have a stupa, and all have quarters for the monks who work in that wat to stay in. You may find little sayings on trees around the place that the monks think are important. In the wats that are in the more kind of tourist areas, you'll have QR codes that you can use to get more information. And one thing that's worth remembering is if you're looking for a toilet, a wat's likely to have a toilet in it. It might want you to make a donation to use it, or it might want you to change your shoes. As I said, because of the rain, we've got to start late in the morning today. And it is now afternoon. Not much into the afternoon, but I'm going to do a stop and have some lunch, I think, before we continue on with more temples. I decided to have lunch at the Blue Diamond Cafe, which is a good place to have a food. There's a couple of entrances. That one goes into a little shop. If you go up and around the corner, there's another entrance which takes you straight into the restaurant. There's a pretty extensive menu, and the food there is really good. I decided on a hamburger with chips and salad and a mango smoothie, which is really good. Wat Chang Man is the first temple that was built in Chiang Mai. It was built by King Mengrai. It is in fact the site where Mengrai camped when the city of Chiang Mai was being built. And once the city was built and the palaces were built, this temple was built on the site. In fact, the stupa there, it was apparently built on top of where the elephants were stabled whilst they were waiting. The temple was built around about 1297. And as I say, it was the first temple built in Chiang Mai city. The next temple we're going to is not actually inside the moated city, it's just outside the moat. So to get to it requires a bit of a walk along the moat and past or through the North Gate, the Thapae Gate, which in rainy season last year was had its foundations undermined and collapsed. So they're taking the opportunity to do some major reconstruction work on it whilst they're repairing it by the look of it. And on the other side of the gate is a space which they use to set up, which is a food market, which is what is called the North Gate Food Market. There's one on the South Gate as well, which is a bit bigger. I used to like this one a lot and used to eat here a fair bit, but I live right on the other side of town now, so I don't get there much anymore. I think it's been a bit knocked around by COVID, but it looks like it's starting to come back. Wat Lok Moli is not far from North Gate, just on the outside of the old city. It's actually a really nice temple. It was built before 1367. They don't actually know when it was built, but that's the first time it was mentioned, so certainly it was built before that. It's actually a nice temple to take shelter in during Songkran if the water fight gets a bit too much for you. they have a very strict policy of kind of traditional use of the water festival in that temple. So it's a nice refuge, but a really, really beautiful temple, and well worth a visit, I think. Wat Phra Singh is one of the really important Buddhist temples in Chiang Mai. It's started construction around about 1345. It houses one of the really important Buddha statues as well, which they don't know when it was made, but it is a very significant statue nonetheless. So lots of people come to visit it. You'll see lots of tourists there. Taking photos in traditional costume is a pastime that happens there. But it is an extraordinary temple, and I would urge you to spend some time there. I actually quite like sitting in the grounds and just spending a bit of time reflecting and looking at the various buildings, the libraries and the stupas and the various other buildings.
Continue, on est là. Ouais, il y a un autre truc derrière. Je l'ai vu de là-bas.
So we're going to head to our next stop now, but I might find somewhere for a cool drink on the way. Finding somewhere for a drink or a snack in the old city is a pretty easy task as well. I stopped off at mango and sticky rice and a pineapple smoothie, which was just what I needed, some nice cool drink. Okay, whilst I was having afternoon tea, it started to rain a little bit. Not too bad, but kind of fast. And that's exactly when the battery on my camera went flat. But don't worry, I did go on to the other two temples that I'd planned to visit, and I got some footage with my phone, which is very old, so the sound quality is probably not that good, but here they are. Wat Phantao is a really beautiful teak temple, not massive. It gets used for a really impressive ceremony in the Loi Krathong festival, which people gather for, but it is well worth having a stop in and have a look at it. Chedi Luang is another major temple in the old city of Chiang Mai. Construction on it started in the 14th century, and it was once the tallest construction in the old city. The stupa at the back was largely demolished by an earthquake. I think it was in the 15th century. But they've done a bit of work to restore it so that it's stable. But I don't think they're going to fully restore it. Once again, the grounds are full of a whole stack of smaller buildings that are dedicated to various parts of Buddha's life and to other important monks. And on the way back, the heavens opened up. Well, that wasn't a bad day out at all. Not a bad walk, and lots of nice temples to have a look at. I've got to say, there's stacks of temples to see in the old city. There's lots of good ones outside the old city too, but within the old city there are heaps of them to have a look at. So for every temple I walked into, I probably walked past about 3 temples, so there's plenty of temples to see. There's also plenty of cafes and restaurants to stop into on the way for a cool drink. There's also, and something to eat of course, there's also 7-Elevens where you can pick up a drink as well, and lots of shops to have a look at, and other interesting things around the old city, like the North Gate, for example, and Three Kings Monument, all sorts of stuff that you can have a look at in the old city. And so lots of stuff to do on foot there. Now, just as a summary of how much it all cost me, and I have to check my notes because I don't have it committed to memory, but we had lunch at the Blue Diamond Cafe, which was 259 baht, and then we had afternoon tea, which we had on the way from Wat Phra Singh to the last 2 temples where the camera malfunctioned. Well, it didn't malfunction, just ran out of power, and that was 105 baht. And then the final temple, Wat Chedi Luang, had an entry fee of 50 baht. So all up, that's 414 baht for the day. So as I say, not a bad day out. Pretty easy to do. There's not huge walks between all of the stops. And you can always stop and have a cool drink, as I say, anywhere you want, virtually. So that's it for the temple tour. That's it for me today, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate the company. If you made it all the way to the end here but aren't a subscriber, you might like to consider subscribing by clicking here. Or if you just like to see something else that I've made, click here for something I think you'd like. And if you're feeling like a real binge, click here and it will take you to one of my playlists. Hope to see you on the journey again soon.